All right, Justin, this is a heated debate. There's a lot of debate going on. Guys, listen, comments are great because at the end of the day, that's ultimately how you become a better hunter, right? I mean, you learn from comments. It's great to be able to have dialogue, and I think that's part of the reason why I love this show. It's kind of interesting to see who the haters are and see who the non-haters are, right? At the end of the day, though, I think this is a discussion that's always worth having. What do you do after you shoot a deer, period, right?
Sure.
We are in a really unique situation here because, at least for us and our team members, we're all carrying cameras. We're filming. If we weren't filming, of course, that changes things tremendously. And I think if there's anything to be learned for the guys who are hunting without filming, is learn from us, period. Because I can't tell you the number of times when I was not filming, Justin, where I would go chase after my deer way too early. Heck, I remember when I was first hunting bow hunting, I'd let that arrow fly. I think I was out of that stand in 5 minutes chasing the deer.
I think this hunt is a prime example of what we hear a lot, right? We go to a lot of trade shows, we meet a lot of people when we're out there, and we get people that say like, man, I shot this deer and it was a perfect shot, and I smoked him and I never found him. Which we know it just isn't the case. Nobody makes a perfect shot on a deer and doesn't recover it. It just doesn't happen, right? If you don't recover your deer, it's because the shot wasn't perfect. And I think, as I say, this is a perfect example of what Troy thought he saw when he made this shot was completely different than what actually happened. You hear in the video, Troy is saying, why isn't he falling? Why isn't he falling? Because in Troy's mind, like what he thought he saw was a perfect double lung shot, right? And we've all been there. Our minds are racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour when we're getting ready to shoot an animal, and what you think you see isn't actually what happened. So a lot of people ask like, hey, why didn't he grab another arrow and shoot it again? I asked Troy the same thing, and he said, I thought I made a good shot. I thought I made the perfect shot, and he was gonna fall over dead right there. As soon as I realized that I didn't make the perfect shot, he did grab another arrow and try to shoot that deer again, but by that point, he had started trotting away and he wasn't able to get another shot off.
And everyone's in different situations. Some people like to shoot with their quivers off, some people like to shoot with them on. I love mine on, kind of for that very reason, because I can just reload so much faster. I mean, just like bam, bam, and ready to go.
I take mine off, but I strategically put it in a spot where I know it's gonna be easy for me to get to, and I generally am taking an arrow out and just kind of like having it resting in there and leaving it loose so that I don't have that like trying to pull it out and the quiver's flopping all over the place. But
let's stay focused on the main point here, guys. What do you do? Listen, Troy, if you read some of the comments here, some of the comments are people are like, oh my gosh, why would you let an animal like that get eaten by the coyotes? Why would you wait that long? That's ridiculous. Guys, I completely disagree. I mean, Justin, I don't know where you stand on this, but I'm going to be very frank with where I stand on this, okay? I mean, I've hunted for a long time. I've unfortunately lost some great animals in my life, and I can tell you I'm not going to lose an animal because I didn't do the right thing and I went in too early. I've been doing this long enough. I've been on enough blood trails with other people, and when I shoot an animal, especially when I have it on film and I know what I have, I'm making my decisions based upon what I have seen with where that arrow went, and if it's not double lungs, if it's not heart, bottom line, I'm waiting 6, 8, 10, possibly even more hours if it's a gut shot. I've seen deer with gut shot live for, that have been gut shot for, up to 2 days, period. I mean, they can live that long, and you have to make the right decisions. For me, recovering an animal is my responsibility. I let the arrow fly. Pushing the animal off onto somebody else's property that I can't go on or may not be able to get, it's you know what? I'm not going to take that chance.
Well, I think it's all about erring on the side of caution. And when Troy shot that deer, I think he wanted to go in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and he talked to the rest of our team members, and we've all lived through these different experiences where, especially on a liver shot deer, it seems to be a very hit or miss thing. I've seen them expire in an hour. I've seen it take 5 or 6 hours sometimes. So, you have to do the right thing and err on the side of caution, because I think it was Dustin who said kind of in our group chat, like, if you push that deer because he's still alive and you went in too early, you'll never forgive yourself for it. And you'll sit back and say, man, I should have waited, I should have waited. And in this case, I believe that Troy did the right thing. Is it unfortunate that the coyotes got to it first? Heck yeah, it is. I mean, it's a very unfortunate thing, but I don't think we should let the fact that there's coyotes in a specific area dictate what we do. Whether there's coyotes there or not, you make that same decision, and you sit back and you honestly hope that the coyotes don't find it. In this case, they did. You know, and I saw a lot of people say that, like, you know, the meat was totally wasted,
No, it
which
wasn't
is
all totally
completely
wasted.
false, right? The coyotes ate out the center section of the deer. They got one of the back straps. But that was it. All 4 quarters of that animal were still good. The neck was still good. There was still plenty of meat on that animal that he was able to salvage, and it's actually at the deer processor right now, getting chopped up and packaged so that he can eat it. So I think it's, you know, an assumption maybe that they ate the entire deer and he wasn't able to get anything out of it. I think all around, it's a learning experience. You know, it's an unfortunate situation when the coyotes get to the deer, but I don't believe that Troy did anything wrong or anything different than I would have done if I was in that same situation.
No way. And I don't care how much, you know, coyote destruction path you go on. I mean, where we live and where we're hunting, I mean, I know for a fact that we're hunting pretty close together. I know how many coyotes I've killed in the area. You can't do enough predator control to where this isn't going to happen. You know, the reality is this is what coyotes do. They eat meat. That's what they're doing. It is what it is. I think, in my opinion, Troy did exactly what I would have done, period. And for all you hunters out there that want to learn and want to make the right decisions, Troy did the right thing, guys. Right. Do not get down immediately after you shoot a deer and race in after them, because you will be making a big mistake.
Yeah, if we want to go back and talk about decisions, I think the one thing we should, you know, definitely touch on was just the shot itself, right? Because I mean, if you make a perfect shot, all of this is a moot point. You know, in Troy's case, that deer took that one kind of extra step with his right foot, and he quartered a little bit more. That I just think in the heat of the moment, you know, he saw a predominantly broadside animal and decided he was going to take that shot. You know, in hindsight, right? Hindsight is always 20/20, right? Could he have waited a little bit more? Maybe that deer steps out on the other side of the tree and gives him a perfect broadside or quartering away shot. Yeah, he absolutely could have. Maybe he should have. I'm not going to say again that he did anything wrong or anything I wouldn't have done
shot.
in that particular situation. I think he made as good of a shot as he could right there. But like I said, hindsight is 20/20. It's easy for people to sit behind a keyboard and say, you shouldn't have taken the shot, you should have tracked earlier, you should have done this, you should have
It'd always
done
be fun to go follow those guys around.
Yeah, exactly. So just wanted to take some time to address some of the comments and concerns over Troy's shot and recovery of that animal. We hope you all learned something. Guys, feel free to leave your comments below. We want to know where you fall, which side of the debate you stand on, and why. And as always, we appreciate you watching.
Bowhunt or die.